Let's begin with defining a model to represent the one message. Under model subfolder, let's define a class named message. Export class message. The instance variables we are going to use in this class is first UID, user ID. Now this is a user ID generated by Firebase authentication service, and then email is the login ID is there. In Firebase system, authentication system, user ID is unique, and the user can change their emails later. But for our convenience in this course, in this web application, we are not going to allow users' emails. So UID and email can serve as a primary key, both of them. But if you want to allow user to allow emails later, then UID should be the primary key. But for our case, those are the same purpose, but email is more readable, so let me use email as a primary key in this web application. This is the title of the message, and then contents of the message, and then timestamp when this message was created. It will be recorded. Doc ID. This is also document ID generated by Firestore. When you create a document, store that, the ID will be generated automatically, and then we will store that here so that later we can have a quick reference or a quick access by the document ID. In the constructor, data object will be provided, and out of that, those information will be stored. This is auto-generated code. Let's review whether it is correct. So data is object literal, so it will have a corresponding field as well. So you can just copy UID, email, title, contents, timestamp. And the doc ID will not be provided when you first create the document for the message. But once you save it to the Firestore, the document ID will be available. So it will be stored later after the message object is created. So let's have a set doc ID method for doing so. Once the Firestore catch the doc ID, so we are going to store that. And then one last thing is that this message instance will be stored into Firestore. So let's have a two Firestore method which converts this message object into the Firestore compatible object form. So what we are going to return is UID, email, title, contents, and timestamp. Those will be converted into object literal, which is compatible to Firestore data types, and that will be stored.